So picture this, a new Hunter x Hunter anime just released, and you're an animator, and you just been assigned to work on the Hunter x Hunter anime. You're thinking, oh god, I hope it's nothing like the Chimera Ant arc again, animating creatures that have animal characteristics or characters moving in slow motion during the palace invasion. My god, it's so difficult. But no, surprise, you're working on the current manga arc, the Succession War. You flip open the manga to start prepping, and it's just pages and pages of dialogue. People sitting in rooms, talking, whispering, plotting, talking some more. Occasionally someone stands up dramatically or raises an eyebrow with killer intent, and suddenly you're crying tears of joy because as an animator, this is the easiest gig of your life. Minimal of movements, no fight scenes every couple of chapters like most battle shonen. Hell, did you know the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie was finished in 4 months? If you saw that movie, you know how well animated that was. So you can imagine the pain the animators went through. But with the current Hunter x Hunter arc, the majority of the time is pretty much just standard walking, lips moving, and maybe a little dramatic hair swish here and there. But there really isn't that many fights. This would be an animator's dream job for when Hunter x Hunter gets a new anime, which will eventually happen. As we all know, studios love money, and Hunter x Hunter produces a lot of money, as shown with the manga volume sales still being very high. And the studio that still owns the license is Madhouse, meaning Madhouse clearly sees the profit Hunter x Hunter has, as they still release merch every once in a while, so I'm pretty sure they are waiting for Togashi to at least finish the current arc, as seasonal anime like Jujutsu Kaisen pretty much animate around 100 chapters for a season, and Hunter x Hunter has only released 70 chapters ever since the anime ended. But for when we do get a new anime, this is gonna be a dream job for many animators. As we all know, there's so much dialogue in Hunter x Hunter, and I love it so much. But hell, the only long fight we gotten so far in all these new chapters is Chrollo vs Hisoka, and that's only 7 chapters long, basically 2.5 episodes long. Now there is a big hurdle for when we get a new Hunter x Hunter anime, and honestly, this is what worries me the most, as this can break the Hunter x Hunter anime and make it pretty bad if done wrong. What I'm talking about is awful directing and awful storyboards. For those that don't know, a director overlooks the entire project and guides it towards the vision that they have to bring out what they think is the best, and a storyboard artist is the one who draws how the episode is going to look like through illustrated panels that visually represent the story and shots of an animation sequence. It serves as a roadmap, guiding animators and directors in visualizing the key moments, action, and camera angles of a scene. While current Hunter x Hunter would be an animator's dream job, it would be a nightmare for storyboard artists, as the current Hunter x Hunter arc has so much dialogue, and it works for the manga medium, but for anime, it's different. With manga, we're the ones reading. We create our own pace. We can read it as fast as we want, but with the anime, the pace is going to be slower because the characters have to talk at a certain pace, which means we the viewers are going to be staring at the screen for a while, and that's where the storyboard artist and director comes in. They had to find ways to make us the viewers find characters talking visually amazing, engaging. Imagine watching this Kurapika scene of him talking and it's just a static shot of Kurapika in one perspective with boring lighting, and it stays like that the entire time for a couple minutes. It will make it so bland and annoying to look at. It's a storyboard artist's job to make scenes like this visually amazing, which makes us want to look at the screen. And honestly, the 2011 Hunter x Hunter anime does have a bit of a bad record. Now personally, the Hunter x Hunter anime has awful directing. It does get good until the Chimera Ant arc. Sure, the York New arc does have some well directed episodes, but it's not that many. Now the animation is very good and very consistent, so props to that. But the directing, I'm sure many can tell when you watch the early Hunter x Hunter arcs. The anime has very static shots with awful perspectives that are just bland, and awful lighting that's just boring to look at. For example, almost the entire Hunter exam arc has boring perspective shots and the same bright colors / lighting. I mean, just compare the Hunter exam fights to the 1999 Hunter x Hunter anime. Look at Gon vs Hanzo in the 1999 anime and look how difference of lighting and color changes so much. Where with the 2011 anime, we had that very same bright sunshine lighting throughout pretty much the entire Hunter exam. It makes it look like the final stage of the Hunter exam isn't a big deal. Just look at the difference and see how good storyboarding can elevate a scene so much more, as anime has the liberty to do so much more than manga. Not all anime has to adapt the manga to perfection, as that would be boring when they can do so much more than the manga. And I just hope when we do get a new anime, they manage to capture that direction from the Chimera Ant arc. Also, I've been counting how many words are spoken in many chapters in the current Hunter x Hunter arc, and then I compared them to previous arcs of Hunter x Hunter to see the difference and how much the dialogue has increased. So I counted how many words a typical chapter of an old Hunter x Hunter arc has. I read chapter 325, which had some of the highest amount of dialogue compared to the usual Hunter x Hunter chapters, and chapter 325 had 880 words. And then I skimmed through other old chapters, and it seems that's pretty much the normal amount of dialogue in normal chapters. Hell, I even counted the iconic Palace Invasion chapter, and it only had 357 words in chapter 263. The funny thing is, many think Hunter x Hunter has a lot of dialogue during the Palace Invasion because of the narrator, but honestly, the narrator doesn't say many words, as the way he narrates is very concise, where it isn't longer than necessary. So after counting chapter 324, I then look at episode 140 of the 2011 anime to see how many chapters they adapted, and they only adapted a chapter and a half. That chapter and a half had 1541 words combined, and the rest of the time in the episode was padded out by either characters walking or it was a shot where it stays on the character for dramatic effect. Also, the opening and ending and small little recap take like 5 minutes in total. And as for the new Hunter x Hunter arc, I was looking at the chapters that seem to have the least amount of words, so I looked at chapter 358, which had 1153 words, and that chapter to me seems to have the least amount of dialogue, as once the arc progresses we have so many more characters monologuing or having a dialogue. And I mean, just look at this page that became a meme. This page alone has 368 words. This page alone has more amount of monologue than the first chapter of the Palace Invasion. So what can we gather from all this information that I pretty much went through? And it's this: the majority of the new chapters in the current arc of Hunter x Hunter have doubled the amount of dialogue compared to the old chapters. So it pretty much is possible for the studio to adapt one chapter for one episode, which gives us Hunter x Hunter fans more content to enjoy. Pretty much how Toei does it with One Piece. The difference being they don't have to pad out the time like One Piece with long reaction shots, static shots, or add filler scenes. The biggest hurdle is how would they direct all these long dialogue scenes and make it engaging visually for us the viewers and not make it feel like a chore watching it. And the OST is important as well, as good music can elevate a scene. But I have faith for when we get a new Hunter x Hunter anime, as the last two arcs of the 2011 anime definitely improved a lot. So if they hire the same director, then I have faith Hunter x Hunter will adapt the current Hunter x Hunter arc amazing, and it will be a dream job for the animators, as they can pretty much take it easy and not have to animate fight scenes every once in a while. Though I am praying for the storyboard artists to keep their sanity. So I wanted to make this video for a while, so I hope you enjoyed.